In this video, we will discuss about the Vedic age. According to your book, it's the Vedic period, chapter 2. Here in this particular video, we will discuss about the sources and the Vedas, the scriptures which were found in the early Vedic and the later Vedic period. So, for that, you need to understand the time period which I have made here for you people to understand. So, as we go to the number line, when you go to the 0 to 2000, so right now we are almost here 2020, but when you go to the BC, that is your before all those period, the Vedic age period, so that is for 1500 to 500 is your Vedic age, Vedic period, but that is also divided into two phases. First phase is your 1500 to 1000 BC, that we considered as a early Vedic, and from 1000 BC to 500 we consider it as a later Vedic. And I will let you know the differences why we are saying as early Vedic and the later Vedic, and what changes came from early Vedic to the later Vedic. So that I have written down. You can also find out the period. You must remember the period. So it's what given here: early Vedic period 1500 to 1000 BC, later Vedic period, that is your 1000 to 500 BC. Now, what are the importance of this Vedic period? First of all, in the second half, that is your later Vedic period, the changes that came from the early to the later Vedic. Earlier the iron was not maximum in use, but with the change of the time, iron had come to be used in the later Vedic period. This I am talking about the later Vedic period, the changes that came about. Secondly, the Aryan shifted and settled along the valley of the Yamuna and Ganga. This was a major change because earlier in the early Vedic they were living in the Indus and the upper portion of the North India, but they shifted as gradually with the passage of time they came towards the Gangetic area. This is what here it happened in the second phase, that is your 1000 BC to 500 BC. Then the next change you will find here, iron tools was used to clear the forest. So when they moved ahead, they had to clear the forest so that they can have agriculture practices. So for that purpose, iron was used in a maximum more strength, so that they can have a vast area to have the agricultural production. This is what given here. Then when you go to the literary sources, there are early Vedic. Most of the hymns were of the Rig Veda was composed in the early phase, that is your 1500 to 1000 BC. Early Vedic period, that is your Rig Veda period, because Rig Veda was composed during this time. And in the later Vedic period, that is your 1000 to 500 BC, the other forms of Vedas, their branches such as Brahmanas, Aryankas and Upani were composed. So this is what here given. Okay, now let's see, it's given about the Shruti and Smriti also in your page, which I will let you know when I'll teach the chapter, that I will make you understand. But for a glance, you should remember Shruti, it means it is said that the Shruti was revealed, enlightened to the sages, sent by God, and was passed orally generation to generation. Here I mean to say Shruti was in context to all those knowledge was given by God to the saint directly. This is what given here. Sages mean the saint, the pure saint that we have according to the Hinduism, not all those priestly class. We don't need to just get confused with the priestly class, the Brahmin class. Sages means the pure saints, that who got the pure enlightenment directly by the God, and later on whatever they got the knowledge regarding the life, regarding the truth of life, that they passed orally from generation to generation. And the next is your Smriti, which again you will come in the next paragraph only, in the first chapter, in that first page of your chapter. These were composed by the rishis. So what they heard, what the sages heard from the God, that was now passed orally. So then the rishis, what they heard, and then they just compiled. This is called the Smriti. Smriti means memorize. So what they have learned, that also they memorize and they have written down. So this is what here Smriti, these were composed by the rishis, or what they got knowledge from the earlier saint. Now coming to your text, it's given there, scholars and historians refer to the period when Aryan first settled as the early Vedic period. That is given here 1500 to 1000 BC as the knowledge about the Aryan, that is given, that first they settled in the upper part of the India, settled in India, Sapta Sindhu, that is called the Indus region. Then between 1000 BC to 500 BC, when iron had come to be used, so as I said, in the later Vedic period, the iron was used. It is believed that Aryans followed the course of the river and settled along the valley of Yamuna and Ganga. So slowly now they have started settling down the nearby the river of the Ganga. The iron tools helped them to clear the forest. So they moved in the eastward and the southeastward directions. Aryans, so far nomadic in the nature, gradually settled in the Gangetic Valley. So now earlier they were the nomadic, moving from place to place. Now they have settled near the Gangetic Valley. So now the agriculture production was also more. This period is known as the later Vedic period. So this is the difference here. In the later Vedic period, the Aryans have already settled down in the Gangetic Valley. You must remember this. Now why do we call this as a Vedic culture? Because the culture of the period is referred to as a Vedic culture because it was based on the Vedic text. So everything was near about sounded with the Vedic text. It was going through whatever was written in the Vedas. So according to that, the people were following. So this is what called the Vedic culture. Now coming to the literary sources, the Vedic text may be divided into two broad chronological groups, that is the early Vedic text. So I have explained about the Rig Veda, that is your 1500 to 1000 BC, when most of the hymns of the Rig Veda were composed. So all the maximum Rig Vedic content was composed during this period. And the later Vedic text, that is your 1000 to 500 BC, to which belong the remaining Vedas and their branches. So of branches, the sub part of the Vedas were also composed during this period. So I have explained you like Brahmanas, Aryanka, these are the texts. Don't get confused with the priestly class. Alright, so this is what given here in your book. Now Upanishad and all were the sub part of the Veda. Now the two periods correspond the two phases of the Aryan expansion in India. So expansion, you need to understand how Aryans first settled in the Sapta Sindhu and then they expanded to the Gangetic Valley. This is called expansion. Now the social, economic, political, this is given here. The social, economic, political and religious aspect of the life of the people came to be reflected in the Vedic literature. Thus Vedas became the storehouse of knowledge. So we get all the information regarding how the society was, what type of economic pattern was, what was the kinship system, how the king had a control, how the leader had a control, what were the religious belief of those people during the Vedic era. So all this we get from the literature only, because we have no idea other than the literature and the scripture. So this is the storehouse. We get the enough idea how the people existed during the Vedic period. Now again it is given the Vedic literature was written in Sanskrit, so you should understand the language to be spoken and written was Sanskrit. The term Veda has been derived from the Sanskrit word that is Vid, which means knowledge. So this is what the Sanskrit word Vid, according to that Vid, that means what? Knowledge, and it has been, that is why it is called the Veda or Vedic age. Vedic literature is divided into two parts, namely the Shruti and Smriti, as I told you earlier. So it is believed that Shruti was revealed to the sages by God. So here sages, again those saint, those pure people who got the enlightenment, the true knowledge by God. So that is called a Shruti. Shruti means listen, and the Smriti is what? To memorize. So whatever they got the knowledge regarding the life, the truth of life, so that they passed on that knowledge orally from generation to generation. Now next is your Smriti. On the other hand, Smriti literature was composed by the Rishis. Now the Vedic literature can be classified into the following categories. So there are four Vedas, that is your Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda and Atharva Veda, and their Samhita. Samhitas are also the sub parts of the Veda, the commentary on the Vedas. Then the next is your Brahmanas, attached to each Samhita, Aryankas and the Upanishads. Now coming to the Veda, the Rig Veda is the most earliest one because it was composed in the early Vedic phase. So it is the oldest religious text in the world and is therefore known as the first testament of kind. So this is according to the Hindu scripture, it is one of the earliest form of the available script found here in the under Hinduism. So it is divided into 10 mandalas. So as the book is divided into chapters for the convenience, so here also Rig Veda is divided into 10 mandalas. It is said to have been composed during the early Vedic period. The hymns are dedicated to the sages, to God. So hymns are all those couplet form of Sanskritic. First of all, it was written in Sanskrit, so they were the hymns. Okay, and they were chanted, and it was dedicated by the sages. So sages, the one who got the knowledge from the God. So these pure people, these saint people, they used to recite. They used to, in order to praise the God, it was written down. They were passed on orally from teachers to their disciples. So again, these all hymns were passed to their disciple, that is the followers and the students. This is what the Rig Veda, the all those hymns which are there found in the Rig Veda. Then your second is the next is your Sam Veda, that we will discuss later on. Again, the Rig Vedic hymns are the authentic source of knowledge of life of people of the time. Much of the Indian philosophy is based on the Rig Veda. So maximum of our belief and the philosophy is based on the Rig Veda, which was composed in the early Vedic time. It also contains a famous Gayatri mantra. So you must be very much familiar with the Gayatri mantra, Om Bhuvurvusva. So this is what here. This was also said to be composed during the early Vedic period. Although religious in nature, the Vedas are valuable source of information on various subjects. So we get variety of knowledge from the Vedas. So Rig Veda is one of the source. The second is your Sam Veda. The term Sam means the sweet song or the melody. So this is what the sweet song in praise of the God. In this Veda, some of the hymns are borrowed from the Rig Veda. So some parts are also it matches with the Rig Veda. Some of the things are again in the Rig Veda. Also again it was written in the Sam Veda. It was compiled in the Sam Veda. So in this Veda, some of the hymns are borrowed from the Rig Veda. The hymns in Sam Veda were meant to be sung at the time of the sacrifice by the priest. Sacrifices, all those yag and the puja ritual practices. So when the priest used to perform such pujas, these kinds of hymns were chanted by the priest. Then the third is your Yajur Veda. It deals with the hymns recited during the performance of yajnas. The hymns in this Veda throw light on the social and the religious life of the Aryan. So here these kind of hymns were performed during the year, again the sacrifices, but not here the ritual puja. Earlier we have seen the sacrifices of the sacrifices means animal and other kind of things were just given to the God in the name of the God. But in Yajur Veda, this is what the ritual practices by the priests, in which these kind of mantra or hymns were recited or chanted. So these hymns in this Veda throw light on the social and the religious life of the Aryan. So we get the knowledge what type of people and who has to get the right of to chant this kind of mantra, who can practice. All that is given here in this Yajur Veda, because yag was not performed by all category of people. Then the next is your Atharva Veda. The hymns contained in this Veda deal with the magic and charm. So magic and charm, that is your Tantra Vidya that you must have heard. This is what here magic and charm. Most of the hymns are taken from the Rig Veda. Again the content, all those sources is what Rig Veda, from there only they have just taken it out. So most of the hymns are taken from the Rig Veda. Beside the power of spirit, the hymns deal with the Gyan, knowledge, Karm, that is your action, and Upasana, that is your invocation, that your depth of as you praise the God, as you believe for the God. Some hymn also deal with the medicine for the treatment of various diseases. So here there are variety of all hymns and the mantra which deal with the different subject, like for the healing of disease. Then the karma, what should be our karma. Okay, karma means your action, and the power, beside the power of spirit to control the spiritual spirits, so as can be the bad or good. So this is all these kind of mantras we get in the Atharva Veda. Now coming to the Brahmana, these are written after the Veda as a simple commentary. So commentary, when we write down something about the Veda, that becomes a commentary here. So what the people thought about the philosophical thought about the Veda, that is called Brahmanas here. So these are what prose texts. So in the form of story, they have tried to give the messages or what should be done, what people should follow in their life. That is what given in here in the Brahmanas. So written after the Vedas as a simple commentary, the Brahmanas are in prose. So prose, that is what in the short type of a story. They explain the social and the religious importance of the ritual as well as the value of sacrifices. So here with this kind of Brahmanas, they try to get in touch, they try to give the all those importance or the messages through this kind of a prose, that how our social thinking should be, that how what type of people were having a belief regarding the religious, and what were the values of sacrifices, like if they do such thing they are going to get such kind of a reward. So this is what given here in this particular way of teaching. It was given in the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas are of great historical value. Each Veda has several Brahmanas. So the Brahmanas are the sub part of the Vedas. Different book are related to the Veda. This is what given here in the Brahmanas. Next comes to your Aryanka, they are known as a forest book. Forest book here means the book in which it deals how the people were living in the forest during that time, because they have to live their family life and their luxurious life and lead a hermit life, the student life. So this is what given here. They are known as a forest book written for the guidelines of the hermit and the student living in the forest. So what they should and how they should live in the forest, how they will control their emotions and other things in the forest, that here it is given in the Aryankas. They form the concluding part of the Brahmanas. Their main theme are what? Mysticism and philosophy. So these are the basic point you need to understand in the Aryanka. The next is your Upanishads. So this is what they are, the philosophical commentaries on the Vedas. Again, this is a commentary regarding the Vedas, but what they are giving, pointing out toward is the doctrine such as karma. Karma is again your action, how your karma should be there, how your action should be there, and what as your action will be there, and so you are going to get the reward. So how to get the moksha, that is the just a release from the birth and the death cycle, that is called the moksha, freedom from this birth and the death cycle. And Maya are explained in detail. Maya, as we get always get attached with the different items, we are always get diverted with all those things, that is what here called Maya. So this deal with such how we can control our desire and other things. The Upanishads form the basic source of the Indian philosophy. So the philosophical idea we get from the Upanishads, composed by different sages, they are said to form the foundation on which the later additions to the Vedic literature rest. The most famous of these Upanishads are Chandogya Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, Aitreya Upanishad, and Taittiriya Upanishad. So these are the name of the 4 Upanishads that you just learned the spelling and the names here, the categories. Now, allied Vedic literature. Allied means the sub part of the Vedic literature. Other than the 4 Vedas, there were different other books also written like commentaries, as you have seen. These are the sub parts. So they were also the sub part of the Vedas. The first is the Vedanga. What they deal with? They deal with the ways in which the Vedas ought to be chanted. Chanted means how the word should be pronounced, like in the sacrifices or the puja. That mantra, how it should be pronounced. As we teach in English, this word should be pronounced in this manner. So here in this particular Vedangas, the book, the text tried to explain that how the mantra should be recited and are thus important in the understanding of the Vedas. The 6 Vedanga deal with the pronunciation. This is what given here regarding the pronunciation, grammar, etymology, metrics, and astronomy. So grammar, this is what as you learn English grammar, Hindi grammar, so that time also the grammar was the subject there. Then etymology, this is the study of your original word. If the word has come out, from where these words have come out, so that time also research work was going on, and this is called what? Etymology. Then metric is your metric, the measurement system. So all these things were taught that time, so this is what they have to learn. So all these texts were present there. And astronomy is the research on the space objects or celestial objects like sun, moon, earth, and other objects. So this is what it is all about in the Vedangas. The next is your sutras. They are divided into 3 groups. That is your Shrot Sutra, which deals with the yajna and sacrifice. This sutra means the kind of a key structure, how to deal with, how to get knowledge about the yajna and sacrifices, what we should perform, how we should perform. Then Griha Sutras or Smart Sutras, which deal with the ceremonies connected to family life. Now if the family they want to have a yajna, so how they should manage it, what are the things they required, so and what type of people should perform, because all were again not given the power and the right to perform all those yajna. And the Dharma Sutras, which provide the rules of conduct for the various classes of people and the various stages in their life. Dharma, it is understood with the dharma as a right and wrong things, so the judgment according to the action. This is also the part of the sutras, that what different classes how they should react in that particular situation, that gives them idea. The third is your Upvedas, as the name suggests. They are the subsidiary Vedas. Subsidiary again you apart, they are 4 in number. Ayurveda deals with the Indian system of medicine, as Ayurvedic medicines are available beside allopathic and homeopathic. So that time people had knowledge about the disease, and so they used to heal the problems, the internal external diseases with the Ayurvedic system. sound. So this is what your Ayurveda. Then Dhanurveda describes the art of warfare. Warfare, the military fight, that is also one of the subject which were taught to the student, how to fight, how to deal with the defensive or the sometime offense and a defense. So that was also skill to be taught. So that we deal with the Dhanurveda. Then Gandharva Veda describes the art of music, and Shilpa Veda deals with the art of architecture. So art and music is categorized under the Gandharva Veda. That is also a particular field in which the person get the high knowledge about the music, that is your alap and other thing which we listen and have a sonorous sound. Then Shilpa Veda, again your all those, when you go through the temples and the architecture, old monument, then you will understand how it was made. So arch and architecture, that was dealt in the Shilpa Veda. Now Darshanas, number 4 is your Darshana. They are the 6 schools of Indian philosophy. So they were the schools where the philosophical ideas were provided. This is called Darshanas, which were written down, compiled down in the Shad Darshans. They include Nyaya Darshan, related to your the correct decision, the justice, that is what called Nyaya Darshan. Then Vaisheshika you should understand here, it is a school of thought asserting the existence of your it can be the formal by the god out of atom. This is what the formation of the soul, that the people how they are formed. So this is what the formed by the god out of atoms of earth, air, fire and water, etc. All are conceived as a substance. So this is what he given here, that we are made up of all those atoms and all compiled with our nature. So this is what Vaisheshika means there. Okay, this is what given here. Then Sankhya is your number system. Yoga, you all know that how we are practicing yoga, we are making the life yogic life nowadays. So Purva Mimasa, again Mimasa here is what, after a great depth of thinking and to get the rightful decision. So that is what called Vichara. After getting great thought, then you come to any particular conclusion, that is your Mimasa. Mimasa again is your two type, Purva, that is your earlier Mimasa, and Uttar Mimasa, that is the next one. They are all propagate the virtues of life and are opposed to the external rituals. So all those ritual practices, so all these are the philosophy regarding the system, that time the Vedic system, it is under the Darshanas. Then there is a Dharma Shastra, the law book called the Dharma Shastra, and the Smritis together with their commentaries are called their. So Dharma Shastra that deals with particularly what are the right decision for particular action. This is what given here. Okay, so this is all the sources that you should understand there. This is what given here. So they lay down the duties of different classes of people as well as of kings and their officials. Manu Smriti gives the description of Hindu code of law, including the Varna, caste and the ashrama. So how should our code of conduct should be there regarding the action, how should we behave. So that is all deal with the Dharma Shastra. And the sixth number is your Ashtadhyayi. It is a treatise on the Sanskrit grammar by Panini. Panini is the name of a person, so he has worked on the grammar, that is your Sanskrit grammar. This is what Ashtadhyayi. Information is given about the roots of the words and the context which they were used in the Vedic literature. So he has tried to give the value how these words are there in the Sanskritic grammar. So research work was done by the Panini. So this is what given here. Some of the importance which I felt that it must be necessary for you, so I will give you in the attachment also, so that you can understand this. So please read the chapter. The next we will cover the importance of the epic and the iron artifacts and the pottery. Other parts of this chapter we will go through it. So kindly read the chapter and make the notes. As I am saying the note, you need to understand that as what were the Vedas, that's how many types of Vedas were there, that you need to write in that in manner. Okay, so go to the chapter. Thank you.